What happened when one man married 1,000 wives all at once? Sounds impossible, right? But in the heart of Africa, Obinna did just that, and what followed was a journey that would change his life forever. Stay tuned to find out how a simple promise led to betrayal, ancient curses, and an unforgettable twist that no one saw coming. This is the story of Obinna and the 1,000 wives. You won't want to miss what happens next. Long ago, in the sunny village of Amoji, there lived a young farmer named Obinna. Obinna was tall, with skin smooth as fresh palm oil. His laughter could fill a whole market square. But Obinna had one sadness. He had no wife. Every girl he loved married someone else. One evening, as the sun kissed the hills, the village drummer Okonko beat his big drum. Bo bo bo. Bo bo bo. The people of Amoji left their cooking pots and market stalls. They ran to the village square. Okonko shouted, "The gods have spoken. A man will marry not one, not two, but 1,000 wives." The crowd gasped. Old women clutched their beads. Young girls whispered and giggled. "But who will it be?" asked Chief Namdi. Okonko raised his drumstick and pointed. You, Obinna, son of his." Obinna felt his knees shake. He dropped his hoe. "Me," he whispered. The village seer, Mama Ifioma, came forward. She tapped her walking stick 3 times. "The gods have chosen you," she said. "But beware. Not every wife will bring joy. Some will bring sorrow. Some will bring death." Obinna swallowed hard. The drums beat louder. The winds blew stronger. The world began to spin. From that moment, Obinna's life would never be the same. Early the next morning, the village elders came to Obinna's hut. Chief Namdi spoke first. "Obinna, you must prepare. You will marry 1,000 wives before the next full moon." Obinna's mouth dropped open. 1,000. How will I feed them? How will I house them? Mama Ifioma chuckled softly. "You must not fear. The gods have provided." A golden goat was tied outside his hut. A bag of shimmering cowries sat on his doorstep. "You will build a great compound," said Chief Namdi. "The finest ever seen." Obinna sighed deeply. His heart raced. His hands trembled. The whole village began to help. Men cut wood from the sacred forest. Women wove fine mats. Children sang songs about the coming weddings. Still, Obinna worried. What kind of women would he marry? Would they love him? Or would they hate him? As he sharpened his machete, he whispered to himself. "I must be brave." The sun set behind the hills, painting the sky blood red. Tomorrow, the first wives would arrive. At sunrise, a line of women stretched from the hills to Obinna's compound. Each woman carried a calabash filled with gifts. The first in line was a tall, beautiful girl named Amora. Her skin was the color of roasted yam. Her smile shone like the morning sun. She knelt before Obinna and offered him a basket of sweet yams. "I am Amora, daughter of Chief Dyke of Umius," she said. "I have come to be your wife." Obinna smiled nervously. "You are welcome, Amora." He lifted her to her feet. The drummers played a happy song. The villagers danced and cheered. But as Amora stepped into the new compound, Mama Ifioma frowned. Her old eyes saw something others could not. A dark shadow followed Amora. A shadow no one else could see. All day, the wives came. Short ones. Tall ones. Fair ones. Dark ones. Some were shy. Some were bold. Some looked at Obinna with love. Some looked at him with cold eyes. By nightfall, Obinna had married 100 women. He was tired beyond words. His head ached from smiling. His legs ached from dancing. His heart ached with fear. As he lay on his new sleeping mat, he stared at the thatched roof. How will I survive this? He wondered. In the darkness, a soft voice whispered from the shadows. You will not. That night, the wind howled through the compound. It shook the wooden walls. It rattled the cooking pots. Obinna sat up, wide-eyed. From the far end of the compound, he heard soft footsteps. Creeping. Sneaking. Drawing closer. He reached for his cutlass. A cold breath brushed his ear. Obinna, a voice whispered. He turned sharply. No one was there. But in the morning, he found something strange. A black feather lay on his doorstep. And one of his new wives was missing. The village woke with a loud cry. Wife missing. Wife missing. It was Amara. She was gone. Her calabash was broken. Her footprints ended at the edge of the forest. Chief Namdi shook his head. This is a bad omen, he said. Mama Ifeoma bent down, picked up the black feather, and sniffed it. This is no bird's feather, she said. This is a sign. A sign of what? Asked Obinna, trembling. The old woman looked into his eyes. A sign that danger has entered your home. The elders gathered quickly. They sat in a circle around the sacred fire. Mama Ifeoma threw the black feather into the flames. It hissed and screamed. The fire turned blue. The gods are angry, she said. Among your wives, Obinna, walks a spirit. A wife who is not a wife. Obinna's stomach twisted. A spirit, he whispered. Yes, said Mama Ifeoma. And unless you find her, all will be lost. The flames danced higher. Sparks shot into the night sky. Obinna knew he had no choice. He must find the spirit wife. Before it was too late. Obinna could not sleep. He walked among the huts of his wives. Some women cooked. Some sang. Some whispered in corners. Obinna watched carefully. Was it the girl with the golden anklet? Was it the one who never smiled? Was it the one who cried at night? He saw nothing strange. Until he reached the last hut. There, a woman sat alone, weaving a mat with black threads. She looked up slowly. Her eyes were red as burning coal. Obinna shivered. He knew he had found her. Obinna wanted to run. But his feet were stuck to the ground. The red-eyed woman smiled. A slow, cold smile. Obinna, she said. Why are you afraid? He tried to speak, but his mouth was dry. I am not afraid, he stammered. She stood up slowly. Her shadow grew taller than the hut. You should be, she whispered. Then she vanished into thin air. Obinna stumbled backward. He had never been so scared. He ran back to Mama Ifeoma. We must act now, she said grimly. Before she destroys us all. That night, Mama Ifeoma gathered the elders. They built a big fire in the center of the compound. The wives were called out, one by one. Each wife had to jump over the fire. A pure heart will pass safely, Mama Ifeoma said. But a spirit will burn. One by one, the wives jumped. Some laughed. Some cried. The fire stayed calm. Until the red-eyed wife stepped forward. As she jumped, the fire roared and turned black. The ground shook. The drummers dropped their drums and ran. Mama Ifeoma screamed, she is the one. The hunt had begun. The red-eyed wife ran like the wind. Faster than any human. Obinna and the young men of Amoji chased her through the dark forest. Branches scratched their faces. Thorns tore their clothes. Still, they ran. Obinna felt his legs growing heavy. But he could not stop. He had to catch her. If he failed, his 1,000 wives would vanish. And so would he. Mama Ifeoma had a plan. Use the sacred net, she cried. The boys threw a large net woven with cowrie shells and goat hair. The net caught the red-eyed wife. She screamed and twisted, but could not escape. Obinna approached carefully. Her skin sizzled where the shells touched her. You cannot hold me forever, she hissed. Obinna looked at Mama Ifeoma. What do we do now? Mama Ifeoma's face was grave. We must send her back to where she came from. The villagers carried the trapped spirit to the edge of the river Ayuku. It was a forbidden river. No one ever crossed it. It was said to lead to the spirit world. Mama Ifeoma chanted ancient words. The river began to roar. Without warning, the net slipped from their hands. The red-eyed wife fell into the river. There was a flash of blue light. And she was gone. Forever. Or so they thought. For a few days, the village was peaceful. Obinna smiled again. His wives cooked delicious meals. They sang sweet songs. Mama Ifeoma smiled. The danger is past, she said. But deep inside, Obinna felt uneasy. He could not shake the feeling that the red-eyed wife was not truly gone. He was right. One evening, as the sun set, Obinna heard strange laughter. It came from the garden. He crept outside. There, he saw a new woman. She wore a dress made of smoke. Her hair flowed like rivers. Her eyes were silver. Obinna, she called sweetly. Come to me. Obinna froze. Another spirit had come. That night, Obinna dreamed of snakes. Snakes crawling on his bed. Snakes wrapping around his throat. He woke up screaming. His wives crowded around him. What is wrong, my husband? But Obinna could not speak. The spirit woman stood outside his hut, smiling. Waiting. Mama Ifeoma called a secret meeting. She told Obinna. Long ago, a greedy king tried to marry 1,000 women. But he insulted the river goddess. Now, spirits come to any man who dares the same. Obinna's heart sank. It was a trap, he whispered. Yes, said Mama Ifeoma. And it has only just begun. Obinna no longer smiled at his weddings. He trembled when new wives arrived. He watched every woman carefully. Which one was real? Which one was spirit? He trusted no one. And the spirit smiled in the shadows. One day, a little girl named Edeora visited Obinna's compound. She wore a necklace of pepper seeds. She laughed and danced freely. She told Obinna, I can see what others cannot. Obinna knelt before her. Help me, Edeora, he begged. Edeora smiled. I will help. But you must listen carefully. Edeora gave Obinna a small clay pot. Keep this pot close, she said. Any woman who cannot touch it without burning will reveal her true nature. Obinna nodded. That night, he called his wives together. He placed the pot in the center. Touch it, he said. One by one, the women came forward. One by one, they touched the pot. Until the pot screamed in fire. And a new spirit revealed herself. Perfect. I'll continue immediately. Here's the next 20 chapters. The man who married 1,000 wives. Continued. Chapter 20, The Test. Edeora told Obinna. You must test each wife. How? He asked. She leaned close and whispered. Feed them pepper soup at midnight. Obinna frowned. Pepper soup. Edeora nodded. A spirit cannot eat pepper. It burns them. Obinna clapped his hands. At last, a way to find the spirits. That night, he prepared the hottest pepper soup Amoji had ever seen. At midnight, Obinna called all his wives. He smiled and handed them bowls of pepper soup. Some ate greedily. Some sipped slowly. But one wife, the quiet girl named Chimamanda, refused. "My stomach hurts," she said. Obinna's eyes narrowed. He watched her carefully. Chimamanda wiped her mouth and slipped away into the night. But Obinna followed. Chimamanda ran into the forest. Faster than a normal woman. Obinna chased her. "Chimamanda," he shouted. She turned and hissed like a snake. Her beautiful face twisted into a monster's. Obinna staggered back. She leaped into a tree and vanished. The second spirit wife was gone. For now. That night, Obinna dreamed again. In the dream, Mama Ifeoma appeared. She wore a crown of fire. "Obinna," she said, "more are coming. And they will not be so easy to find." Obinna woke in a cold sweat. He knew the fight was just beginning. At dawn, a new wife arrived. Her name was Neka. She had skin like river clay and eyes like the sky after rain. Obinna's heart skipped. She seemed pure, gentle, kind. But Edeora shook her head quietly. "Even rivers can hide crocodiles," she whispered. Edeora gave Obinna a special mirror. "Look at each wife through this," she said. "If she is a spirit, the mirror will reveal her true form." Obinna tested it. When he looked at Neka through the mirror, he gasped. Her reflection had no face. Just a swirling cloud of smoke. Obinna's hands shook. He had married another spirit. Obinna did not confront Neka. Instead, he watched her. She never blinked. She never yawned. She never laughed. She only watched him, day and night. Obinna prayed for wisdom. How could he defeat an enemy that smiled so sweetly? The skies over Amoji darkened. Storms rolled in. Thunder roared. Lightning flashed. The elders said, "It is not the season for storms." Mama Ifeoma shook her head. "It is the spirits. They gather strength." The village lived in fear. And Obinna counted every heartbeat. On the seventh night, Obinna woke to screams. Knives clashed in the darkness. Two of his real wives fought with a spirit wife. Obinna grabbed his cutlass. When he reached the courtyard, he saw it. Neka floating above the ground, her body twisting into smoke. Edeora screamed, "Now, Obinna. Strike." Obinna raised his cutlass high. And brought it down with all his strength. The cutlass, blessed by Mama Ifeoma, struck true. Neka screamed and exploded into black mist. The winds howled. The ground shook. Then, silence. The skies cleared. The stars returned. Obinna fell to his knees. 3 spirit wives defeated. But how many more remained? The next morning, Obinna sent servants to draw water. But when they peered into the well, they screamed. In the water, a face stared back at them. A woman's face. Eyes open wide. Mouth silently screaming. The villagers dropped their pots and fled. The spirits had found another way in. Mama Ifeoma gathered Obinna and the elders. "We must purify the well," she said. "We must call the river spirits for help." The old men shook with fear. "The river spirits are dangerous," said one. Mama Ifeoma pounded her staff. "Would you rather be swallowed by evil?" No one answered. Preparations began. At midnight, the villagers gathered by the well. Drums beat softly. Women danced in circles. Men chanted prayers. Mama Ifeoma called the river spirits. The water bubbled. A soft blue mist rose. From the mist, a figure appeared. Tall. Beautiful. Terrible. The River Queen. The River Queen spoke with a voice like waterfalls. "You seek my help, mortals." Mama Ifeoma knelt. "Help us, great queen. Cleanse our well." The River Queen laughed. I will help, she said. But I demand a gift. What gift? Asked Obinna. The River Queen smiled. A gift of truth. Obinna was puzzled. What does she mean? Mama Ifeoma explained. Each wife must confess her true name and origin. A spirit cannot tell the truth, said Edeora. Obinna nodded. Another test. The next day, he gathered all his wives. And the questioning began. One by one, the wives stood before Obinna. Some wept. Some laughed. Some trembled. Most gave names and villages. But when it was Ngozi's turn, she hesitated. My name is. She could not speak. Her tongue twisted. Smoke curled from her ears. The villagers gasped. Another spirit uncovered. Ngozi shrieked. She grew tall as a palm tree. Her hair turned into snakes. She grabbed Obinna by the neck. The wives screamed and scattered. Obinna struggled, choking. Edeora threw a handful of salt into Ngozi's face. Ngozi screamed and dropped Obinna. The spirit fled into the forest. That night, Mama Ifeoma threw sacred herbs into the well. The water glowed golden. The evil face vanished. The well was pure again. The villagers danced and sang. For a moment, peace returned. But Obinna knew the war was not over. Not yet. 3 days later, a messenger arrived. He wore red feathers and carried a drum. He bowed before Obinna. My master invites you, he said, to marry the daughters of the Moon King. Obinna blinked. The Moon King. The villagers whispered in fear. No one had ever seen the Moon King and lived. Mama Ifeoma frowned. It is a trap, she warned. But if you refuse, worse will come. Obinna nodded. He must go. At sunrise, he set off with Edeora and a few brave men. Into the mountains. Into the unknown. The path to the Moon King's palace was lined with bones. Old bones. New bones. Human bones. Edeora whispered, many have walked this road. But few have returned, Obinna said grimly. Still, they walked. Step by step. Towards the greatest danger of all. At last, they saw it. The Moon King's palace. It floated above the mountain. Built of glass, mist, and moonlight. Obinna stared in awe. Is this real? Edeora whispered. Obinna didn't know. But they had come too far to turn back now. Tall guards stood at the gates. Their eyes were empty. Their spears dripped with black water. They did not speak. They only watched. Obinna and his men bowed low. The gate swung open without a sound. The air inside was colder than ice. The Moon King sat on a throne of silver bones. He wore a crown made of stars. His face was hidden behind a mask of ivory. My daughters await you, he said. His voice rumbled like thunder trapped in a cave. Obinna bowed deeply. One by one, the daughters appeared. They floated like smoke. Their eyes glowed. Each wore a dress made of spider webs. Obinna's heart pounded. He felt their beauty pulling at his soul, like a fish caught on a hook. Edeora grabbed his hand tightly. Be strong, she whispered. The Moon King clapped his hands. You must choose wisely, he said. Pick the real daughter among them. Pick wrong, and you will never live. Obinna's stomach twisted. How could he know? They all looked alike. But he remembered Mama Ifeoma's words. Trust the one who cast a shadow under the moon. Obinna watched carefully. Most daughters floated without shadow. But one, the smallest, had a faint shadow. It danced under the moonlight. Obinna pointed at her. You, he said. The Moon King laughed. You may marry her. The other daughters vanished into mist. Obinna wiped his forehead in relief. But the Moon King was not finished. He clapped again. A giant silver serpent slithered into the hall. "You must ride it across the sea of night," he said. "Or stay here forever." Obinna's knees shook. He hated snakes. But he climbed onto the serpent's back. Holding tight, he whispered a prayer. The serpent slid into black waters. The stars above twisted like smoke. The sea was endless, cold, and full of whispers. Obinna clung to the serpent's scales. Edeora and the others followed in small boats. All around them, ghostly hands rose from the water, reaching for them. Voices sang from the water. Sweet, sad songs. Obinna felt his eyelids drooping. Edeora screamed, "Don't listen. Cover your ears." Obinna slapped his hands over his ears. The voices grew louder, but he did not listen. Slowly, the serpent carried them forward. At last, they reached an island. White bones covered the ground like snow. Old boats rotted on the shore. Edeora whispered, "This is the place of those who failed." Obinna shivered. He would not join them. He would survive. No matter what. In the center of the island stood a huge door. It had no handle. No lock. Only a riddle carved into the wood. "I open to the brave, but close to the wise. I destroy the greedy, but bless the kind." Obinna frowned. What did it mean? Obinna took a deep breath. He thought hard. He touched the door gently, whispering, "I am not greedy. I seek peace for my people." The door creaked. It swung open. Edeora clapped her hands in joy. They stepped through together. Beyond the door was a golden field. Tall grasses waved in a warm breeze. In the center stood a single baobab tree. At its root sat a woman, weaving golden thread. She smiled at Obinna. "I have been waiting," she said. The woman handed Obinna a ball of golden thread. "This thread will lead you home," she said. "But beware. If you stray from its path, you will be lost forever." Obinna bowed. "I will not fail." The woman vanished into the grass. Obinna tied the thread to his wrist. It pulled him gently forward. He and his men followed, stepping carefully. The golden thread glowed brighter with each step. But dark shapes moved in the grass, watching. Waiting. A sly voice called out, "Obinna, come here. I found treasure." It was the voice of his best friend, Chike. But Chike was dead. Obinna gritted his teeth. He ignored the voice. The golden thread pulled him onward. A terrible wind rose. It tore at Obinna's clothes. It snapped the trees like toothpicks. Edeora screamed, "Hold the thread." Obinna wrapped it tighter around his wrist. The wind howled louder. But the thread held strong. Step by step, they pushed forward. At last, they saw a gate of light ahead. The golden thread pulsed with joy. Obinna ran forward. The wind tried to pull him back. Voices whispered lies in his ears. But he ran faster. The light grew larger. Obinna and Edeora reached the gate. It shone like 1,000 suns. Obinna shouted, "Jump!" They leaped together. The world spun. The wind screamed. The voices vanished. And they landed, safely, back in Amoji. Home at last. The village erupted in celebration. Drums pounded. Fires blazed. Food filled every table. Obinna was lifted onto shoulders. Edeora smiled beside him. The spirits had been defeated, for now. But deep in the forest, something stirred. The true battle had just begun. At night, the trees began to whisper. Obinna heard his name carried by the wind. Edeora held his hand tight. "The forest remembers," she said. Obinna frowned. What does it want? No one answered. A black crow landed on Obinna's window. Its eyes glowed red. It cawed 3 times, then spoke. 1,000 wives. 1,000 promises. Obinna's heart sank. Had he broken a promise he didn't even understand? The village elder, Popongozi, called Obinna to his hut. You married the daughters of the Moon King, he said. Obinna nodded. You made vows to each, Popongozi whispered. Now they are coming. Obinna's blood turned cold. The ground shook. A woman in a dress of black feathers appeared. Her feet did not touch the ground. I am Ngozi, she said. Your first wife. Obinna stumbled back. She smiled a sharp, wicked smile. Ngozi leaned close. You must build us a palace, she whispered. Or suffer. Then she vanished into mist. Obinna collapsed into a chair. Edeora held his face between her hands. We will find a way, she promised. The people of Amoji began to argue. Some wanted to help Obinna. Others feared the ghost wives. Maybe Obinna cursed us, one old man shouted. Fights broke out in the market. The piece of Amoji cracked like thin ice. The river boiled. Out of it rose a woman made of water. I am Ife, she said. Your second wife. She smiled sweetly. But her touch froze the air around her. Do not forget us, she warned. Then she sank back into the river. Mama Ifeoma called Obinna into her hut. You must gather the wives, she said. Call them. Treat them with respect. Give them gifts. Obinna frowned. But, what gifts? Mama Ifeoma smiled. Each wife has a true heart's desire. Obinna climbed the tallest hill. He beat the royal drum. The sound rolled across the land like thunder. One by one, the ghost wives appeared. Some in fire. Some in rain. Some riding lions. Obinna bowed low to them all. The wives spoke in one voice. We will leave you in peace, if you give us what we seek. Obinna nodded. But how will I know what you seek? The ghost wives only laughed and disappeared into the night. That night, Obinna dreamed. Each wife appeared in his dream, whispering secrets. One wanted laughter. One wanted music. One wanted freedom. One wanted a single ripe mango. Obinna woke with a start. He had a lot of work to do. Obinna and Edeora gathered gifts. A golden drum. A necklace made of laughter. Fresh mangoes picked under the morning sun. They carried the gifts to the ancient forest, where the ghost wives waited. But one wife, Chidinma, was angry. She wanted more than gifts. She wanted Obinna's soul. You made me a promise, she hissed. Obinna trembled. Edeora stepped forward. You will not take him, she said bravely. Chidinma laughed. Then we shall do. She pulled a black sword from the air. Edeora picked up a branch. The duel began. Blade against wood. Shadow against light. The ground shook. The sky cracked. Edeora fought with fire in her heart. She dodged, leaped, and struck. Chidinma hissed like a snake. At last, Edeora hit her with a fierce blow. The black sword shattered. Chidinma screamed and vanished into smoke. The other wives bowed to Edeora. You have courage, they said. You have the true heart. Obinna fell to his knees, thanking her. Without Edeora, he would have been lost. One by one, the ghost wives left. They danced into the stars. They sang into the rivers. They disappeared into the wind. Only Ngozi remained. She smiled sadly at Obinna. We will meet again, she whispered. Then she was gone. Even though the ghost wives left, something lingered. Shadows twisted at the edge of the forest. Dogs howled at nothing. Obinna knew the story was not yet over. He must stay alert. For now, Amoji celebrated. They sang songs of Obinna and Edeora. Drums beat all night. Children danced around fires. Obinna smiled, but deep inside, he stayed watchful. He knew peace was fragile. Late at night, Obinna stood alone. He looked into the dark forest. Two red eyes stared back at him. Obinna gripped his staff tightly. The red eyes moved closer. Obinna stood firm. He would not run. A soft voice whispered, "You cannot escape what you have started." Obinna clutched his staff tighter. Out of the shadows stepped a tall man. The guardian roared in approval. "You have passed," he said. From his chest, he pulled a glowing stone and handed it to Obinna. "The heart of the ancients," he called it. Obinna bowed deeply. Obinna and Edeora returned to the village. The people cheered and sang. Drums echoed into the hills. Obinna smiled but clutched the heart of the ancients tightly. The real danger had just begun. Late that night, a cold wind blew through the village. A voice whispered, "You cannot escape your 1,000 wives." Obinna sat up, heart pounding. The past was not done with him yet. A woman in a white wrapper appeared at Obinna's door. She wore no shoes and her eyes were silver. "I am Oluchi," she said. "Your forgotten wife." Obinna's stomach twisted in fear. Oluchi held out her hand. "You made me a vow at the river festival," she said. Obinna remembered. He had promised to build her a house of gold. He had never done it. Oluchi pointed to the sky. "You must now build me a house," she said. "Not of stone or gold, but of promises kept." Obinna bowed his head. He had much to make right. The village prepared for the festival of reckoning. A time when broken promises were mended. Fires burned all night. People wept, forgave, and danced under the stars. Obinna stood among them, heavy with guilt. Edeora stood by Obinna's side. "You are not the man you once were," she said. "You are better." Obinna smiled weakly. He hoped he could prove her right. Obinna sat with Papa Nosy. They made a list of every vow Obinna had ever made. The list stretched longer than a python. Obinna sighed deeply. He had a long road ahead. The first vow was simple. He had promised to plant a garden for an orphan boy. Obinna got to work the next morning. By sunset, the boy danced in a new garden of yams and cassava. While planting, Obinna found strange stones that sang when touched. He collected them carefully. "These stones will help," Edeora said. "They are blessings for the pure-hearted." But not everyone was happy. Chief Obil, a greedy man, watched Obinna with jealous eyes. "He steals all the glory," Obil hissed. "I must stop him." A new danger grew in the village. Chief Obil gathered a band of angry villagers. "We will chase Obinna away," he growled. They met secretly under the old Iroko tree. Plans of betrayal filled the night air. Edeora had a dream about the river of secrets. There, she saw shadows plotting against Obinna. She woke up, trembling. She knew they had little time to act. Edeora ran to Obinna. She told him everything. Obinna frowned. "I will not fight them," he said. "I will win them over with truth." It was a dangerous choice. Obinna called all the villagers to the town square. He stood before them with open hands. "I am not perfect," he said. "But I will make right what I have wronged." Some listened. Others turned away. Chief Obil stepped forward, sneering. "Empty words," he shouted. He threw a stone at Obinna. It struck Obinna's chest. But the heart of the ancients glowed and shielded him. The villagers gasped. The glowing heart rose into the air. It shone light into every villager's eyes. In that moment, everyone saw their own broken promises. Cries of shame and sorrow filled the square. The people knelt. "We too have broken our promises," they cried. Obinna smiled sadly. He was not alone. The village would heal together. Amoji began to rebuild. They fixed broken houses, planted new gardens, and told the truth freely. Obinna and Edeora stood hand in hand. For the first time, real peace bloomed in Amoji. But deep in the forest, old shadows still stirred. Would you like me to continue with chapters 121 to 140? We are building a true masterpiece together. He wore a cloak of leaves. His face was hidden. "I am Uzoma," he said. "I have come to collect what is owed." Uzoma opened a leather pouch. Inside were glowing stones. "Choose one," Uzoma said. "And your troubles may end, or grow worse." Obinna hesitated. Which stone should he pick? Obinna chose a silver stone. It pulsed with soft light. Uzoma smiled strangely. "You have chosen the path of dreams," he said. Then he vanished into thin air. That night, Obinna fell into a deep sleep. He found himself walking through floating cities. Each city held a secret. Each secret could change his fate. He had to choose wisely. Obinna entered the first city. It rained endlessly. People wept in the streets. A woman in white approached him. "This is the city of broken promises," she said. Obinna shivered. The woman touched Obinna's forehead. Memories flooded back. Vows he made. And forgot. One to the river wife. One to the forest bride. He had broken more promises than he thought. In the center of the city stood an old man. He held a key made of bone. "Find the heart that still beats for you," the man said. "Only then will you be free." Obinna walked through streets of crying souls. In a small garden, he found Edeora. She was crying too. Her heart, he realized, had been broken by all his secrets. Obinna knelt before Edeora. "I have made many mistakes," he said. "But my heart belongs to you." He gave her the silver stone. The rain stopped. The city of tears vanished. Obinna woke up. Edeora sat beside him, holding his hand. "You spoke in your sleep," she said. "You said my name." Obinna smiled, tears in his eyes. "I choose you, Edeora. Always." The village woke to a strange morning. No birds sang. The river was still. The people whispered. "Something is coming." Obinna felt the same cold fear in his bones. The elders gathered at the town square. "The land is angry," Popongozi said. "The spirits stir beneath the ground." Obinna stood. "I will face whatever comes," he said. The earth trembled. Cups fell. Walls cracked. Children screamed. Obinna ran to the sacred hill. Smoke rose from its peak. Something ancient was waking. From the smoke, a giant creature emerged. It had the body of a lion and the wings of a hawk. It roared loud enough to shake the mountains. Obinna and the villagers fell to their knees. The guardian's voice rumbled like thunder. "Who dares disturb the balance?" Obinna stood up slowly. "I am Obinna," he said. "And I seek peace." The guardian's eyes glowed golden. "You must prove your worth," the guardian said. "You must pass the 3 trials of truth." Obinna bowed. "I accept." The guardian lifted one massive paw and pointed to the forest. Obinna had to cross a bridge made of spider webs. Below, a river full of snapping crocodiles waited. Edeora cheered him from afar. Obinna took a deep breath and stepped forward. In the forest, 3 doors appeared. One led to safety. One to death. One to endless wandering. Obinna closed his eyes and listened. He chose the door that hummed with life. The final trial was the hardest. Obinna had to face his greatest fear, losing Edeora. A shadow Edeora stood before him. He hugged her tightly. "I will never leave you," he said. The shadow melted away. And so, Obinna's life was forever changed. But the real question remains. What's next? Will his past come back to haunt him? Or has he truly broken free? Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications, because the adventure is far from over. Share this story with your friends and spread the magic of these ancient folktales. Until next time, keep your promises, stay curious, and never stop exploring the world of African folktales.